wins the tip. Theron Halleck with the ball in her hands to get this New Year's Day game underway. Lombard, one of the best in steals per game in the country. She leads the Big Ten in steals per game. Almost got a piece. Michigan State fires up their first three, and it drops in Inez Sotelo.
Yeah, a beautiful shot, but a late closeout as well. You have to be able to get out to that perimeter quicker.
Sotelo, only 1 for 10 from three coming into this season. Nails her first of the game. Lombard from three. Back-to-back threes.
Again, if you can break that press, you'll find an open shooter because Michigan State's sending two to the ball.
Lombard, one of the most efficient guards in the nation. Theron Halleck lets that three go, and Michigan State comes up with the offensive board. Sotelo all over the place.
Yeah, Lombard thought she got fouled there from Sotelo coming in to try to get that loose ball.
Tate fires up a three, knocks it down. That full court press broken easily this time by Purdue. Lombard on the wing. It goes down inside to McCarthy, a freshman getting some valuable minutes. She kicks it back out to Lombard, but an offensive rebound by Bass tipped out. It'll stay Purdue basketball.
Yeah, I really love these first opening minutes for Michigan State. They're seeing the shots go through, but also you have to love the minutes that Sotelo has played so far. That weak side help right there was great, completely shut off the lane.
Back-to-back threes by Michigan State. How were they able to find such good shot quality?
Well, I mean, Purdue right now, they're running just a spaced out defense. And when you do that, you have to be able to close out quickly to the ball. We've seen a couple just soft closeouts so far. You have to be able to go quicker to that.
Michigan State now breaks Purdue's full court press. A more laid back press out of Purdue, and you'll see them in that zone defense. Inez back out to three. Tate again off the mark. Offensive rebound off the hands of Simmons, and it'll go Purdue basketball.
Again, another open look for Michigan State. That 2-3 zone starting to find open shooters.
How can Michigan State take advantage of the three-point shooting when Purdue is playing that zone defense?
Well, you just have to see the open shots come your way, and then once you start knocking down a couple, maybe that zone will switch. Maybe they'll start to be more aggressive to the ball. That's when you attack the middle, you send a flasher, and you work the ball inside more to your bigs.
Those paint touches, something that Michigan State head coach Robin Freilich said is so important. McCarthy finds two down low. That freshman forward showing what she's made of.
Yeah, but it was also a beautiful setup by Collier, too. I mean, 28 assists on the year.
Back out to three, Michigan State gets the O board. Inez Sotelo not giving up on the play.
I mean, just really, really great opening minutes.
Sotelo getting some really valuable minutes early on. Lombard drives inside. No call from the contact, and it's A-Roll running in transition, but poked from behind by Collier.
Yeah, great hustle that time from Collier. It's two back-to-back plays that she's had, one on the offensive end, one on the defensive end, but that time just recognizing that A-Roll was being a little loose with the ball, didn't see Collier behind him, poked it away.
There's Michigan State's head coach Robin Freilich in just her third season as Michigan State's head coach, but off to the best start in program history. Theron Halleck gets the steal, but can't get the two to go. Purdue back on their offensive end. Travel call.
Yeah, Lombard with two physical plays on the ball that time. First one could have been called for a whistle, but the second one, clean block. And then coming down the lane, turnover goes against Purdue. You just can't give up those easy ones to Michigan State. You have to be able to not have those mistakes go your way. Michigan
State, a team that loves to run in transition. A big portion of their total scoring and offensive production comes from fast break opportunities. Down low to A-Roll, off the mark. But another offensive board. Michigan State relentless inside Simmons. Just off the mark, but she'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, two great plays that time from Michigan State. The first one I love, going inside to the middle, working with that high-low set. They didn't get the first bunny to go from A-Roll, but they stayed with it, and then Simmons got rewarded by taking the contact and going to the line. Two great plays by Michigan State.
Michigan State already with three offensive boards. to start this game off. How have they done such a good job on the glass?
Well, it's one thing when you're so spaced out as a defense, sometimes you might run into trouble when it comes to boxing out, but Michigan State has been doing a great job by putting a body on somebody, making sure you get that clean box out, and now they got more height in with Van Sluten in as well.
Simmons goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line, a 76% free throw shooter on the season. Michigan State staying in that full court press, gets the trap, gets the steal. Simmons, shot fake, fouled again. She'll head right back to the free throw line.
That trap defense by Michigan State, we see it come into effect once again. But if you're Purdue, what's going to happen as you go on and get later in the game is we see Simmons taking the contact once again. But you have to be able to have a trailer back there. That time Bass got too forward, too far up. There was no option for Purdue to give that pass back to her. That's why the steal happened. So as the game goes on, you have to be able to leave that trailer back there, have a fail-safe, and work the middle of the floor.
Purdue will have to take better care of the basketball as Simmons knocks in 2 more free throws. Purdue averages 17 turnovers per game. Michigan State averages 26 forced turnovers out of opponents per game. Purdue back on their offensive set. Reagan Bass from the outside. Good defense by Michigan State on their man-to-man assignments. Reagan Bass gets the baseline though, misses the bunny.
Yeah, nice aggressive move, just didn't finish.
Bass, a player that has to focus on finishing, one of the leading scorers for Purdue, and another 3. This time, Michigan State's Emma Shoemate knocks it down.
Spartans starting off, shooting 50% from 3. You see that?
As any head coach can be, playing overseas, playing for the Seattle Storm. She's played at the highest level. Now she's coaching at one of the highest levels. Big Ten basketball, it's Michigan State who gets fouled again on the drive, though.
Again, good job by Michigan State working the middle of the lane, turning defense into offense. But again, if you're Michigan State and Jada Simmons, you have to, and Jocelyn Tate, you have to be able to continue to work the middle of the floor. You know Purdue is going to make some adjustments. That weak side defense is going to start to come into effect.
Purdue already with 5 turnovers in comparison to Michigan State's 0, just 5 minutes into this game. Down low, Alexander misses the bunny, almost gets the offensive board. Michigan State relentless on the O boards. Purdue needs to figure out a way to box out.
Yeah, but that was also great defense that time by McCarthy. I mean, completely walled up. Footwork was great. Didn't let Van Sluten get behind her whatsoever. Textbook defense, you need to see more of that come into effect.
McCarthy, a freshman forward who's really coming into her own early on. It's January 1st, and a lot of coaches say freshmen are no longer freshmen come the new year. In their half-court set, Lombard gets it, but a travel call. Purdue moving just a little bit too quick for themselves.
Yeah, I like the move by Swanson that time. Had the pump fake, had the lane to herself as well, but you just have to be careful. Make sure you put the ball on the floor first.
Sometimes basketball is really just back to the basics. Fundamentals, making sure your feet are set. Purdue tipping this one out. Lombard always really good with those hands. She's one of the best in the nation in steals per game. Leads the Big Ten, actually, with 2.8.
Very, very quick hands by Lombard. I mean, 36 steals on the year. That is unreal.
Purdue will really need that production out of Lombard, stealing it, turning her defense into offense. Easy money bunnies. 2 points for Lombard.
And those, you asked earlier, you know, what does Purdue need to do? That's exactly that. Generate a couple stops, get some open looks, and you'll see that lead start to cut down for Michigan State.
Purdue, if they can string together some score, stop, score sequences, they can make this a game. Down low, Alexander, and 1.
And this is, you reap the benefits when you have both Van Sluten and A-Roll out on the floor at the same time. But take a look at the Lombard steal and finish. Those are the types of plays that you need if you're Purdue. But going back to Van Sluten and A-Roll, when you have both of them on the floor, you can run that high-low offense, and that's exactly what they want to do.
Van Sluten, a player who started every game of the season until today's game. She averages 13.5 points per game and 7.3 rebounds per game. Another unforced turnover out of Purdue.
Yeah, and you put it perfectly, Alexis. I mean, those are just unforced plays that you cannot have. You need to be able to limit those when you already know Michigan State's going to try to put you into as much pressure as possible. You cannot have those small mistakes.
Is Purdue's 6 turnovers right now because of Michigan State's defense or Purdue's offense?
I think part of it is just because, you know, they're kind of hurting themselves on some of those plays. You know, they've had a couple travel calls that just could have been cleaned up with, as you mentioned earlier, those fundamental plays. So you cannot have those. You have to be able to, you know, not hurt yourselves. And that's kind of what they're doing right now.
Unforced turnovers are definitely those turnovers that coaches hate. Purdue taking on the full court press of Michigan State yet again. Lombard breaks it by herself, and Purdue's in their half-court set. That's a 2-pointer by Reynolds.
Yeah, and that's a great play. I mean, the pass by Collier to find Reynolds. Those quick passes is how you get those quick, easy scores against the Michigan State's press. Love that by Purdue.
The inside-outside game for Michigan State works. Theron Halleck for 3. Van Sluten with the assist. Good awareness to kick it back outside after being mobbed down low. Lombard, shot fake. She'll pass it up. Collier on the inside. Little pull-up jumper, no good, but the O board is number 22, Kendall Puryear for 2.
Yeah, it was a strong, aggressive rebound by Puryear, and then the finish as well. Those are the types of plays that you need. Great job. We'll see what they can do on defense now.
Van Sluten, the footwork works. 2 points for Van Sluten down low.
If you're going to send no weak side help to the ball, you have to be able to take that matchup one-on-one. It was a great move by Van Sluten, just that step through, easy layup.
Kendall Puryear going up against Van Sluten right now. Dips that shoulder but can't drop the rock. Lombard, a steal, and 2 more in transition.
The fans want a foul call. Robin Fralick's asking for an explanation as well.
Theron Halleck, the one on the receiving end of some of that contact. One of the toughest Spartans out there. She's always jumping right back up after hitting the hardwood. Michigan State finds Ayrault down low. The leading scorer for this squad passes it back outside to Halleck. She can't get that 3 to go, though.
It's a good closeout that time. You saw Purdue that time send 2 to the ball as well.
Swanson with the step back.
Tough bucket that time, able to get into a rhythm and take the shot.
Ayrault pull-up jumper, pure.
You just have to be able to pick up the ball as Ayrault's coming down the floor with it. And Halleck's all over the place right now.
Michigan State back into that 10-point lead, 25-15 with just 1:50 to go.
Yeah, the Spartans have made their last 4 or 5, but check out this move by Swanson. That's a good step back, good jumper. Those are the types of shots you need to have, getting in rhythm. And then talk about getting in rhythm, Julia Ayrault doing the exact same thing on the other end. She's going to need to have a big afternoon if Michigan State wants to pull away.
Michigan State press. Gets called for the foul this time instead of getting away with the steal. That's center Inez Sotelo.
Sotelo called for the foul, trying to rip away that time.
Lombard loses it, but out on Michigan State. Purdue dodges another bullet.
Yeah, that was a close one. I mean, that hit Lombard right in the hands, just couldn't get a clean pass. So you have to, if you're Purdue and the Boilermakers, you have to focus on clean passes and just make the smart decision.
It's Jordan Poole with the basketball now, a player that Purdue is so excited to have back in the game. She's coming off an injury, and last game was her first game getting some valuable minutes as Michigan State fans upset at the foul call that came from the Spartans there.
Yeah, it's a couple calls that the Spartan fans don't feel like went their way. We'll see if that changes anything going forward.
A steal and a strip. Michigan State off in transition. Simmons can't get it to go, but Sotelo's running on the backside. O-boards all day.
And you get your first start of the year and you just run away with it. That's exactly what Sotelo's doing right now, playing absolutely amazing minutes in her first start.
In Sotelo's first start, she's already got 7 points and 3 boards to lead everybody in both categories. Just 10 seconds left on the shot clock. The ball in Poole's hands. She finds McCarthy down low. Inside out basketball to Collier for 3.
And Collier's started to kind of be the spark plug for this Purdue team.
Theron Halleck, really fast-paced basketball, gets the defense off balance and into foul trouble.
Check out this pass. Beautiful find, beautiful shot. Collier shooting 40% from 3 so far this season. And she shows it right there. Those are the types of plays that you want to see if you're Purdue. You want to see those quick passes, find the open shooter, and just knock your shots down.
Even though Michigan State still has the lead by 9, the offensive production and efficiency out of Purdue has become much better as this game's gone on. Purdue now shooting 62% from the field and 67% from 3.
Yeah, they've started to really find their groove offensively. It's just those 8 turnovers right now that's hurting them.
The difference maker in this game, 8 turnovers out of Purdue, keeping Michigan State in the lead. Down low, Petrie, not realizing how open she was at some points, gets called for the travel.
Yeah, and as soon as she picked up the basketball, you saw towards that final 3 seconds, Bass started to cut. You have to make that cut to the paint. As soon as your teammate picks up the basketball, you see that they're in trouble. You have to cut down to the paint at that exact moment. She came a little late and didn't have anybody to pass to.
Sotelo knocks down the mid-range. She's hitting from everywhere. 9 points already for Sotelo. With 15 seconds left in the first quarter, Michigan State not giving up on that full court press.
And check this out, just taking the space. We saw her knock down a 3 ball, so you know she can shoot it. 3-level score starting to develop for her, and that was just taking your cookies where you see them.
And Sotelo looked at Collier with her hands down and said, hand down, man down. I'm knocking it down. Michigan State with another steal and fouled to head to the free throw line.
Yeah, respect the hustle from Petrie that time, but again, you cannot have those turnovers off the inbound. Purdue was hoping for the last shot. They still might get it unless Michigan State gets an offensive board here, but you just love to see it from Jocelyn Tate making the read and then running the other way as well.
Tate, really nice job at getting in the passing lanes and reading the eyes of Purdue when passing that basketball. Tate, 73% from the free throw line on the season. She's been a starter every game this year, a consistent, valuable piece. Ayrault gets the O board, but coughs it back up. Purdue in transition, they'll pull it back out. Last shot of the quarter, blocked. Ayrault on the rim protection.
Yeah, Ayrault frustrated with herself after the turnover. I mean, that one was just kind of a blank. She turned, looked, and Petrie was standing right there, and she just gave it to her, but on the other end, making up for it, getting the block, getting the stop in 0.2 seconds.
That's what basketball is about. It's a game of mistakes. Who can make up for the mistakes more often? Purdue, not good, not in time.
Able to limit that and cut that number way down.
Michigan State, a team that turns opponents over an average of 26 times per game. Almost got another there. Purdue can't find McCarthy down low. Ayrault with a good 3 quarters, but Purdue gets inside. Petrie off the mark. Michigan State pulls down the board.
Great deny by Ayrault, but another good look for Purdue. You're going to want to take those.
Michigan State in their half-court set. Ayrault down low, but kicked back outside. Hot potato passing. Ayrault gets it back. No good that time.
Have to like the ball movement. If you're Robin Freilich, you want to keep that trend going. Ayrault can knock those down.
Ayrault with good hands again. McCarthy having her work cut out for her down low.
Yeah, McCarthy wants the ball. That's 3 possessions in a row where she's had a hand up demanding for the basketball, but Ayrault doing a great job of shutting her down, and now the Spartans go a little mismatch. Ayrault subs out. Vince Luton subs in, but again, you take a look at the contact that time. McCarthy just staying aggressive, staying with it.
McCarthy will also head out, and in for Purdue is forward Elena Harper. Michigan State in their half-court set. Back against that Purdue zone. You'll see Purdue switch their defensive schematics throughout this game. Michigan State from 3. Not that time. Purdue's Jordan Poole gets it and turns the ball over. Michigan State running in transition. Guess who? Jocelyn Tate. 2 more.
And a great stutter step there, recognizing the defender was behind you, kind of laid off for a second, got her to jump in the air a little late, and then you take that easy layup. That was a great move and something that you can miss quickly, and Jocelyn Tate did it great.
Tate, such a speedy, athletic player whose ability to change pace forces the defense out of position. Van Slooten, good front down low.
Yeah, the height for Van Slooten paying dividends that time.
Tate sees an open lane but can't drop it in. Reagan Bass pulls down the board. One of the best players to come out of the MAC, a transfer from Akron. Petrie from 3, knocks it down.
Yeah, and Sotelo was there in defense, but just ultimately no closeout that time, almost just let her shoot. And those are the looks that you're going to want to take if you're the Boilermakers, especially if they're going to continue to shoot at such a high clip.
Back-to-back threes. Michigan State wants one. Not this time. It's Petrie who pulls down the board. She finds Poole.
Yeah, and Sotelo still down on the other end of the court, got her head banged up.
Reagan Bass from 3. Not her main shot, but definitely a forward who can stretch you out and shoot that 3. Michigan State in their half-court set. Being patient against this zone, finds Van Slooten on the blocks, kicked back out to Tate for 3, paint touches, making it work.
Yeah, it was a great job of Michigan State's offense, recognizing the area in the zone that they could attack.
Wow, and then Tate, so good at getting into those passing lanes. Looked like Michigan State was coming up with another steal, but instead, Tate's called for the foul.
Yeah, Tate knocking down the 3-point jumper and then trying to hustle it on the other end. Gets the tip up in the air, trying to dive down for it. Gets called for the foul on the contact against Poole.
And even though that's just Tate's first foul of the night, she'll head to the bench and take a rest for now. Purdue breaks Michigan State's full court press this time and looks down low, working the block. Harper off the mark.
Yeah, Harper wanting the foul, but Van Slooten, good defense.
Ayrault from 3, just rimmed in and out. A foul call on the board battle.
And Nyla Hampton, the shortest player on the floor right now, but getting the rebound that time. Hampton seeing her first minutes of the afternoon.
Nyla Hampton, a player who's moved over with Coach Freilich from the MAC level, and it's Van Slooten who's blocked. Purdue gets to run in transition off that block for 2 points, off the mark, no. Purdue gets the offensive board this time, and it's Reynolds who's fouled.
Yeah, and again, if you're Purdue, you cannot let up whatsoever. You have to continue to attack the lanes and take those open shots. And then when you're not called for a shooting foul, but again, you get an opportunity to run a set and try to get an easy bucket.
Reynolds looking for an easy bucket off this inbounds out of bounds play. Can't find it. Petrie stuck with the basketball. Collier, another unforced turnover. Purdue in trouble. 14 turnovers on the night.
Yeah, not only that, but also that time, Puryear and Hampton were down low in the paint one-on-one, and that is in multiple inches height disadvantage for Hampton. But again, she stayed in front, didn't allow the pass to come, and then a traveling violation was called. So Michigan State not allowing that one-on-one to happen.
Michigan State sticking on their assignments. Hampton catches Purdue sleeping with the back door.
That's where she's so good. Moving without the basketball is a beautiful back cut that time, getting rewarded for it as well.
Ayrault almost comes away with another steal. She gets the board, but a foul is called, this time on Puryear.
And Puryear's been aggressive so far. Take a look at this back cut by Hampton. That's a beauty. And then on the other end, Michigan State just, again, forcing Purdue into mistakes. I don't love the 3 ball that time from Swanson. Little out of rhythm, especially, you know, when you started to fall behind Purdue. We talked about the shooting percentages that they were at, you know, just nearly 60% from the field at 57. Now they've dropped down to 45, and they're on a 2-minute scoring drought.
Purdue finally gets a steal of their own, this time forcing Michigan State into a turnover and almost turns it back over themselves. Purdue not taking good care of the rock. How can they do a better job at keeping it in their half-court sets and not just coughing it up?
Well, it starts with rhythm, and you have to be able to get into rhythm to get into your half-court sets. So you just have to take care of the basketball. You take care of the basketball, you're allowed to get across half-court and then run a set. But Michigan State's playing really physical right now, but you have to attack the lane more. Try to get some fouls called.
Swanson for three. Not going inside, it's off the mark. If Purdue can get inside, they can stop the clock and chip away one-on-one. How valuable would that be for Purdue right now?
That'd be absolutely huge, and that's something that you have to do. You get a couple buckets, you go to the free throw line, and then you start to chip into the lead, but also that you start to see the ball go in the net. And when you do that, that's more confidence.
Basketball all about confidence. A player with a ton of it. Reagan Bass goes inside, but Van Sluten, too much, staying in front.
We have a timeout on the floor.
The substitution's getting ready to come in after the timeout, but it's been well, to be honest, I think the shot selection has just changed for Purdue a little bit. You saw in that first quarter, they were getting a lot of open looks. They were knocking them down, and they're also taking smart shots. Now, in the second quarter of action, you're seeing some off-ball shots come through, some, off the dribble shots that might not be the best shot selection. But again, they're still doing great in transition. Purdue is. They have 4 fast break points compared to 11 fast break points compared to Michigan State's 4. So they're working hard. They just need to see the easy shots come through quicker.
Bass at the end of the shot clock can't get that one to drop. Van Sluten showing to be too much for Bass to start this game off. Darren Halleck wide open from 3. Not this time. She's got a couple. Another unforced turnover out of Purdue. That gives them 15 turnovers before the half even hits.
Yeah, and that's a tough one to see go against you if you're Purdue. And they've also just struggled. I mean, they're on a 3.5-minute scoring drought so far. And I just think part of it, too, is they're just getting a little too quick now. You have to just settle down, try to get a couple foul calls, attack the lane, and try to get some easy layups to go your way.
How do you draw contact against a Michigan State team that's doing a good job playing so clean?
I think a big part of it, too, is, it's easier said than done. You have to be able to find the seams in the defense and be able to just attack the paint. That's something that they haven't really done so far.
Some more patience on the offensive end would do Purdue some good, but for Michigan State, offensive production has come easy. 2 more points for Van Sluten down low. Purdue barely breaking that press out of Theron Halleck, so good at staying on her man. Purdue finds Bass down low. Van Sluten stays straight up and gets the block. Bass can't find anything.
Yeah, I mean, that was just pure lockdown that time from Van Sluten. Just a brick wall for Michigan State. First off, you see her go inside, gets the bucket to go her way, and then on the defensive end, I mean, that's just fully extended brick wall. You move your feet, stay in front of him. Bass was trying to spin the other way, but Van Sluten straight in front of her, nowhere to go.
Van Sluten, an incredible transfer for Michigan State. She's brought in a lot of energy for this Spartan squad this year. Didn't start this game, but she's come in and had a good game. But Sotelo, the player who started for Van Sluten, continues to be everywhere on the court.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about having good games. Sotelo, by far the best that she's played so far this season in her first start as well. In 10 minutes of action, 9 points.
Sotelo inching toward that season high. Her season high right now is 13 points against Montana. Michigan State passing around the arc. Just 8 seconds left on the shot clock. It's in Sotelo's hand. She finds an open lane, and 2 more points for Sotelo.
And that's something where, if you're Robin Fralick, she has a smile on her face at the moment, but that's something that you love to see, right? When you have a forward like Sotelo who's young, who's starting to come up in your program, being able to pull off a move like that, take the dribble, confident with the basketball, nice Euro step in there as well. I mean, that's a beautiful move for a young player who may not be as experienced as some of your other forwards.
Sotelo, she's definitely got athleticism in her blood. Her mom, Marta Miguez, was a javelin thrower in the Sydney Olympics in 2000. Meanwhile, her father, Julian Sotelo Madrazo, threw javelin in Barcelona Olympics in 1992. Sotelo, of course, took the route of basketball instead of track and field, but wow, how impactful has this freshman been for Michigan State?
Yeah, she sure has, and she has a lot of international experience playing on the U18 team over in Spain growing up, and that international experience can sometimes shape you into such a better player than sometimes going a different route.
It does. There's a different way players play overseas compared to the American-style basketball. Michigan State defense continues to be dominant. Nyla Hampton getting her hands on that one.
Yeah, and it's easy to say, well, Purdue just has to attack the lane and get to the free throw line when you have players on Michigan State like Nyla Hampton who had, just great defense on that one. But Purdue, they just have to keep chipping away and find the open looks.
Right idea out of Jones trying to get inside. Better defense, though, out of Hampton. And one for Tate.
Yeah, Jocelyn Tate has had a solid afternoon so far. 8 points, now 10 points with that bucket. 3 rebounds as well. Just taking it aggressive, putting the head down, lowering the shoulder. That's something you love to see.
Jocelyn Tate nearing her career high at Michigan State of 13 points versus Oakland earlier on in this year.
And she's missed 3 free throws so far today too, so she would tie that.
Michigan State on this 11-0 scoring run. They had a 9-0 scoring run. Reagan Bass can't stop the drought. Michigan State looking to build on this 43-21 lead with just 2 minutes left in the half.
And again, we see Purdue, Lombard there that time with we talked about how active she is on the defensive end, but once again, disrupting that pass, for her, hoping that it would stay in bounds so that she could get the steal. But those are the plays that you're going to start to disrupt momentum a little bit if you can keep passing those away.
Jocelyn Tate open from 3. She ties her career high this season.
There's those open looks for Michigan State once again coming through. The bench is hyped up and the Spartans starting to run away with it.
Michigan State feeling confident. They should be. They're off to their best start in program history, looking to get back into the win column after back-to-back losses against Alabama and Maryland, 2 ranked teams at Michigan State wants to get back. Inside, Collier can't stop the drought. Michigan State pushes forward. Down low, Van Sluten, 2 points, too easy.
Yeah, everything's going right now for Michigan State, and Purdue has struggled. And wow, take a look at that scoring run. Spartans.
16-0. Purdue needs something. The 3-point heave, not it. Layden can't get it to go. Just a minute left of this half, Michigan State. Hampton, pull-up jumper. Maybe a little early into the shot clock, Jack.
Yeah, maybe, but I do love that move. A little in and out crossover. Got the defender on her heels a little bit. The shot was there, but yes, sometimes you'd like to see a couple passes first, but that one, right idea, just didn't execute.
Tate gets another steal against Lombard, who's normally so strong with the basketball. Michigan State trying to turn their defense into offense.
And now you'll see the Spartans working it into a set. Freilich calling out a play. We'll see where Hampton goes with it.
Just a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock to end this first half of action. Michigan State up 48-21. Hampton looking for something to end this quarter on a good note, but Purdue makes Michigan State cough it up. Lombard, heave. No. Reynolds turning down a ball screen, kills the basketball, and McCarthy has actually moved all the way to the outside, a forward who normally stays on the block. Purdue, it's Petrie looking for the drive. Clean defense out of Tate.
Yeah, clean defense. Spartan fans wanting a Purdue turnover. But again, that's that set that Purdue got into. They got into that 1-4. You talked about McCarthy moving out to the block, who usually plays on the block, moving out of it. You take a look. That one wanting the call doesn't go.
Petrie looks for the three, doesn't get that one, but gets her offensive board. Follow your shot. That's what we're taught. Petrie, it pays off.
Yeah, great job to hustle and stay after it. Theron Halleck coming so quick the other end.
2 points for Halleck. That's what she does, that up-tempo energy.
And that's why she sees so much production in this Michigan State offense. That's how she plays.
And then Purdue coughs it up. Aralt behind it. She comes trailing, looking for the three, but Halleck finds it inside. Passes it back out to Sotelo, who's having a great game. Misses that one, though, and Purdue secures the board.
Jump ball on the floor. Good hustle by Collier to try to run over and get that one. Bumped in the face a little bit. Seems to be all right, but Michigan State will come out. We'll see the call. Tate just coming from that weak side, getting a hand on the ball.
Sotelo, the player who just missed that three, the only other player outside of Tate in double-digit scoring today. Aralt looks for the three. Can't get it that time. Aralt hasn't been finding the bottom of the net. 0 for 3 from three-point land, but a player who's improved tremendously from her freshman year in those shooting percentages. Collier can't get the three to go either. Purdue gets the offensive board.
Yeah, Puryear was there. Nice job so far by the Boilermakers in this early action of the second half to follow their shots, continue to crash the glass. That's how you're going to come back in this one.
Between Puryear and McCarthy, Purdue has some really strong freshman forwards. How can they get the forwards more involved in this game?
It's just more with them going into their sets, right? So you have to be able to stretch the floor, but also get deeper into the shot clock. If you do that, you're going to most likely means you're passing the ball around along the perimeter, trying to work it inside. The more the ball moves, the more the defense stretches, and by that time, you're hoping for a good shot. So just get into your sets. Your offense is built around trying to work the ball into the paint, and that's something that they haven't done much today, but it's also credit to Michigan State's size. Players like Sotelo, Aralt, and Van Sluten, they've been playing phenomenal between the blocks so far today.
And it's Aralt who's at the free throw line right now after pulling down an offensive board and getting fouled, trying to go up for some second chance points. The offensive board battle is tied at 7-7, but it's Purdue who leads the total rebound battle, 24-19. Purdue trying to break that lethal full court press out of Michigan State. Jocelyn Tate can't beat that career high, but it's Theron Halleck. Gets it from outside, and Tate, my goodness, she is strong down low.
Yeah, she sure is. Gets a help up, good sportsmanship by the Boilermakers. Landed on her that right wrist a little bit. She seems to be okay. That's a tough fall, but as you mentioned, she's a hustler. And Halleck almost had that three-pointer to go. You have to love the hustle, though, from Halleck coming from the weak side on that trap. Purdue had no idea that Halleck was there, and she was able to generate a steal.
And Tate pulling down her fifth board of the night. Jocelyn Tate is a guard who averages nearly 5 boards per game, and she's got a season high of 10 rebounds in that last game, the loss versus Maryland. Michigan State trying to make up for those back-to-back losses after starting off 11-0 on the season. Theron Halleck looking from three, not even close, but Tate again with the hustle, saves it, and they find Halleck again. Can't get the second chance opportunity, but Tate, a second offensive board in the same possession. Michigan State can't find second chance opportunities off it.
Yeah, you'd hope to see the Spartans drop one there if you're Robin Freilich, but on the other end, Purdue starting to string together a couple buckets.
And Petrie, good idea to get it going early in the shot clock. Purdue down 27-51. They've got a lot of making up to do.
Yeah, they sure do, and it starts at this end of the floor right here. Cannot allow the Spartans to get those second chance opportunities.
Aralt, a 6-year player going against a freshman in McCarthy. Another offensive board by Michigan State, this time Sotelo.
Yeah, and that was a missed box out that time. McCarthy had the clean box out against Aralt, against Aralt, but then nobody was boxing out Sotelo, and that's how she got so free. So missed box out, and that's going to be something that's going to be looked at on film.
And it's interesting because the rebound battle, as Sotelo you see pulling down this one with nobody in sight, isn't just about the size advantage that people talk about. It's also about positioning, attention to detail, getting there first.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And that's what happens sometimes, too. When you're on that 2-3 zone, you're going to be sending 2 to the ball a lot of times.
Right.
So your defensive assignments are going to be switched up. And sometimes, and in cases like that, you're going to miss your box out assignment.
Yeah, a lot harder to man up when you're not already in that man-to-man and find a body to box out. Purdue looking to break this full court press. They finally do. Jones inside gets fouled. Will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, I love that play that time by the Boilermakers, working quick off of the inbound pass. They beat the press, and usually when you do that, you have a 2-on-1 the other way. Kind of goes the same thing that we were just talking about. When you send 2 to the ball, there's going to be an open player, and that time Purdue found it, and Jones was able to get to the line.
Jones, typically a player who brings so much spark off the bench for Purdue. She has started in 4 of 13 games this season, but that energy she brings off the bench, 7.3 points per game, hits those free throws to give her 2 on the night so far. Michigan State goes down low to Ayral. Ayral tries to feed that post-to-post connection, but it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and that was a great setup that time, and Sotelo had the back cut. Michigan State working towards the middle of the floor. Sotelo coming from that right block, and Ayral just missed her. It's a tough situation. She seems to be a little banged up, still battling with that ankle, but she should be all right.
Ayral with just 3 points on the night, 5 boards though. She's 1 for 6 from the field, and Ayral is a player who has been Michigan State's leading scorer this season at 16.7 points per game and 7.7 rebounds per game. Down low though, Puryear gets 2 to go.
Yeah, it's a great play by the Boilermakers. That's what we've been talking about, trying to work the middle of the floor.
Purdue staying in that zone, trying to trap Van Sluten, but she finds an opening. Simmons looking for the gaps, finds Van Sluten, mid-range, bang.
And I thought Purdue did a great job of rotating that time defensively. Van Sluten just taking the shot where she saw it, getting in rhythm. Again, another 3-level scorer for Michigan State.
Van Sluten at 6'3" has the height advantage on most Purdue players. That time Jones, she can't get it to go. McCarthy gets the offensive board for second chance points.
And McCarthy now 4 points in the afternoon. She's 2 for 2, so you want to see the ball come her way, especially if she saw a couple early shots go.
Purdue, with their tough non-conference schedule, they've played against some of the toughest posts and teams in the nation. South Carolina, one of those teams we chatted about. Tate, and 1. Make that a new career high as a Michigan State Spartan. 15 points for Jocelyn Tate.
Yeah, and what a time for it to come as well. I mean, that one is a bucket that you want to get a special award from, and getting your career high is perfect for it. Love the play by Tate to go baseline, but then she start to bring it out closer to the block. That's textbook fundamentals.
Tate makes the 3-point play the old-fashioned way. Give her 16. Jocelyn Tate, she's 6 for 11 from the field, 3 for 5 from three-point land. She's also got 7 rebounds, not to mention she's flirting with that double-double territory now. Michigan State staying in that full court press.
And Tate's also played a clean game as well, only 1 turnover, and she's seen a lot of the production on offense for the Spartans.
Purdue needs to find something, but coughs it up again. Those unforced turnovers have been absolutely killer. Give Purdue 22 on the night. Hampton passing it around. Michigan State tried to find something in transition. Gets Van Sluten off the mid-range instead. Easy money.
And that's something that Van Sluten has just been practicing over time. It's something that she was so great at Oregon. Of course, she was the #1 option there. And here at Michigan State, a couple more options offensively. But Van Sluten, with the time that she spent over in that West Coast area, she just elevated so much of her game, from the jump shot to dribbling.
13 points for Van Sluten is the 0 turnovers. Van Sluten really struggled against Alabama, who also has such a tough defense. She had 8 turnovers there. and then 4 turnovers last game in the loss to Maryland. She's coming back after not starting this game, trying to get back into that starting lineup.
Absolutely, and sometimes all it takes is just a little breather.
Van Sluten misses the 2 down low. It's Puryear who pulls down the defensive board and secures it for Purdue. They get going onto the offensive end, and Purdue needs to find something. Who do they go to?
Yeah, that one, the story of the afternoon as it was tipped away, but they're just getting pushed out from the three-point line, and when you do that, it's tough to get into your set. This physical, on-ball, in-your-face style defense from Michigan State is just having them play passive.
Sotelo stays in front. No help defense needed for Michigan State. That's part of what makes their defense so tough. The rotations don't even need to come because everyone stays on those assignments.
Yeah, absolutely, and that time Jones just fell down, didn't get her footing underneath her. But Purdue, they'll still get an opportunity. 4.9 left on the shot clock, though.
Have to look for something quick. Michigan State steals it instead. Theron Hallett lost it. It's off Puryear's shoe, and it's back into the half-court set of Michigan State.
What a sequence that was. Off the back of the heel and straight back to the Spartans.
That's just the way it's been going for Michigan State. Everything going correctly. Sotelo called for the foul before the shot.
Yeah, and Sotelo probably lucky that the contact came, because if she would have continued with that move, it would have been a travel. But again, she'll be able to head to the line as Michigan State's now in the bonus. You saw momentarily that sequence that had Michigan State going back and forth, and they're trying to generate some points off of it.
The freshman, Inez Sotelo, with a new career high for Michigan State. 2 players today, Sotelo and Tate, with new career highs in the green and white. Sotelo, her previous season high, 13 points versus Montana. Give her 14 after the free throw. Bass down low into Puryear. Puryear over the shoulder, can't get it to go, and it's Van Sluten who pulls down the board. This forward can run in transition and dribble it herself. She gives it off to Hampton, though, to set it back up.
And we'll see how quick Michigan State goes, how late they want to get into the shot clock. At this point in the game, you're looking to go through your sets.
Time is on Michigan State's side. Sotelo splicing through, little contact, but no call. Purdue basketball. Jones, mid-range, no good. Gets the offensive board, but throws it right back out of bounds.
Yeah, Jones just trying to tip that to anybody else in the area. Good pressure by the Spartans, but Jones on that possession, I mean, she was playing very aggressive. She was going at the rim. That's something that you want to see if you're Katie Geralds. You want to see those players who are hustling, who are pushing through. And Sotelo hits the bench and gets applause from the fans here at the Breslin Center.
Purdue head coach Katie Geralds has talked about the impact of guard Rashonda Jones, how her energy is some of the best energy on this team, coming off the bench, a spark plug, making sure there's no drop off when going into that bench. Hampton splicing through the lane, but can't find the sweet spot on the backboard.
And if you're Purdue, you want to go quick here before Michigan State gets set back in defense.
Jones left all alone from 3. Bang!
And those are the open shots they saw in the first quarter that allowed them to have such efficiency from beyond the arc. They haven't seen that much the rest of the way.
Tate fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line. Speaking of that field goal percentage out of Purdue, Purdue was a team that was shooting 67% from the field in the first quarter. That's dropped all the way down to 39%, but that 3 out of Jones. Whew! Tate brings it back to the other side to go to the free throw line.
And Jocelyn Tate still continuing to push the envelope for the Spartans, continuing to rack up those points, now with 17 in the afternoon.
When talking to Michigan State's head coach Robin Freilich about Tate and Nyla Hampton, the two players that she brought over with her from Bowling Green to Michigan State. She said, well, the reason I brought them over is because I knew that their game would translate from mid-major to Power 5. Their speed and athleticism is what makes them able to give me production at MSU.
Yeah, and you're seeing it firsthand so far this season, the depth from Michigan State continuing to flourish.
Block by Ayrault. That wingspan out of the forward guard combo. Julia Ayrault gets another. Down low to Van Sluten. She's got the footwork, she's got the jumper, but can't get it to go. Purdue finds Lombard, who's been quiet tonight, the leading scorer for this Purdue Boilermaker team, with just 7 tonight. McCarthy over the shoulder, can't get it to drop from the mid.
And Purdue still struggling to see some things go their way. Check out the block by Ayrault. Again, as you mentioned, Alexis, just that wingspan that she has, helping her on both sides of the floor.
Ayrault, she's 10th in the Big Ten in points per game, and even though she hasn't scored as many as her average shows tonight, she's doing other things to make her presence known. Simmons turns the basketball over, and Purdue finds it on their end. Lombard with just 7, can't get that points going. Ayrault running in transition. She'll pass it around. Again, time on Michigan State's side. Van Sluten, air ball, rebounded by Bass.
And game starting to come down to the wire, almost done with this third quarter of action.
Lombard from deep, desperately needed that.
Yeah, you absolutely did need that. If you're Lombard, you want to see that come your way. Try to cut into the deficit.
63-39, Michigan State with the lead and with the ball to end the third quarter. They'll take the last shot with just 5 seconds left. Simmons finds Ayrault, Michigan State's leading scorer, but she turns it over.
Here in this fourth quarter of action, you want to go on some runs, string together some points, and try to cut into this lead.
And if you're Purdue, you don't want to look at the score right now as the fourth quarter is here. Just make it a clean slate. McCarthy finds 2 down low, first play of the fourth quarter.
And they've started to go to McCarthy a little more in the paint. And she's had a solid afternoon in the times that she has seen the ball.
Michigan State, boards all day. Sotelo with 2 more points.
Sotelo just being rewarded for hustling to the paint.
Sotelo, 16 points and 4 rebounds now. 2 points for Purdue, dropping in back-to-back. They found offensive production.
You just got to keep those going.
Halleck poked behind from the best in the Big Ten at steals. Lombard gets blocked by Sotelo in transition.
Yeah, the Michigan State bench fired up. Sotelo got that block, and that's something that she's started to really elevate her game defensively, and that's something that you've seen from the start of the year until now, just the way that she has gotten better. And that's what's going to happen when you play in one of the best college basketball conferences, which is the Big Ten. And when you do that, you're going to play against tougher competition, and you're only going to get better as a player.
Collier from 3, knocks it down. Water.
At Purdue now 6 for 15 from beyond the arc. Collier, she's had a solid afternoon as well from the time that she's seen the Rocks. You definitely see the IQ from her on a high level.
Collier, one of the best 3-point shooters on the team at 39%. Tate almost got the 3 to go. She's having one of the best games of her career as a Spartan. Ayrault still struggling from outside, and it's Purdue who secures the defensive board. Reynolds finding Lombard, who's cherry picking, but can't find anything. Defensive transition back in time by the Spartans. Ayrault, good D. Michigan State back on their side. Shoemate finds an open lane, but can't get it to drop. Tate, good defense. She's been on 10 on the defensive end.
Yeah, Tate's been doing all of it. Tip pass that time. Boilermakers were looking to skip it, and when you're going for those skip passes, you almost have to get it as soon as the ball comes into your hands. You have to immediately skip it, because if not, it's real easy for the defense to get a hand up.
Collier looking for 2 more. She gets to go. She's finding a bit of a hot streak there. 7-0 run for Purdue.
Yeah, and that's what we were just talking about. You want to go on some runs in this fourth quarter to cut into this lead and end the game on a high note for your squad.
Basketball is a game of runs. The highest run in this game was a 16-0 run out of Michigan State. Aralt gets bombarded down low, and there's a foul call, that time on Jones.
And the Boilermakers, they've tried to bring that weak side defense into effect. I love the decision that time by Jones, just not the right execution from it. But Michigan State has also done a great job. I mean, they're big, specifically Aralt, Van Sluten, Sotelo. They've gone away from the weak side, so those double teams can't come. That's textbook.
Aralt, wide open 3. She gives a sigh of relief.
She sure does, because she's been struggling, but everybody in the Breslin knows how Aralt can shoot the ball. 2 for 8 today from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, finally getting her first one to drop.
1 for 6 from 3, but Aralt's a near 40% three-point shooter on the season. Her percentages have gotten better every year, just at 22% coming into her freshman year from beyond the arc. She's really upped that in the offseason. How important has it been for Aralt as a senior to step into a leadership role on the court?
It's been huge, and I think she really started to come into that leadership role, last year, and of course now this year, really having the keys almost to the leadership position. But that's something that she's really started to come into effect of, and now it's starting to spread. Right now you have younger players on the team like Sotelo, you have Van Sluten there as well, and the immediate impact of bringing Van Sluten worked out so great because Aralt was there and was able to show her the ropes and say, hey, this is how we do things here at Michigan State.
Aralt with the most experience out of everyone on the Spartan squad. 6 years she's played. Simmons, the 3 off the mark, but she gets her own board. Van Sluten begging for it, but a timeout call out of Robin Freilich.
Yeah, Freilich won.
That Sotelo lets the game come to her, that she's got that overseas playing experience. Aralt also starting to go on a bit of a streak in this fourth quarter after a cold start.
Yeah, Aralt starting to see the net a little better, the bottom of the rim a little better. And that's something that you want to see from your leader and from your captain.
Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Purdue. Back to a 20-point deficit that Purdue, essentially since the beginning of the game, has been trying to crawl out of.
Yeah, ever since Michigan State went on that 16-0 run, Purdue's tried to climb back.
Collier, the 39% three-point shooter, can't get it to drop that time. Purdue has really struggled with their offensive production. Aralt misses the 3, but gets her own board. Back up top to reset Hampton. Aralt, second try. Not this time. Purdue trying to move quick. They need to with only 5:30 left in this game, down 20. Purdue lost their last game against Iowa, wanted to get back into the win column, but turnovers has been killer. Over 20 on the night. Aralt finding Simmons. Easy money. That's textbook transition.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of point forward action from Julia Aralt. The little crossover, push through cross, finding Hampton down low. Eyes up always by Julia Aralt when she's with the basketball.
Aralt, she's that forward who plays a lot like a guard, able to dribble, able to pass. Foul out of Layden on Hampton. Michigan State just getting to have their way with this one, 72-50. The freshman with 16 points and 5 boards. Meanwhile, Julia Aralt, who plays that guard-forward combo, right near that double-double territory with 8 points, 9 rebounds. That was something that Coach Freilich said, last year we didn't have enough rim protection, enough production out of our forwards. I wanted to change that this year, and she sure has. Van Sluten pulls down the offensive board, but can't hang on to it. It's Bass who takes it away.
And we'll see what Purdue can do with these final couple possessions that they have. in this fourth quarter. They want to try to end this one on a good note.
Purdue has done a better job in the fourth quarter of taking care of the basketball. Just 2 turnovers in this quarter. Fouled is Jones on the pull-up.
Spartan foul called on number 11.
And Purdue's offense, Lombard has 10 points in the afternoon, but no other Boilermaker is in double figures. Collier is threatening with 8, and then likewise for McCarthy with 8 as well. They just need more production out of their bench, and I mean, of course, make no mistake, this is a very young team, lots of talent. Of course, an All-American head coach as well.
Bit of a mistake, a silly mistake there out of Michigan State as Tate and Sotelo pass it over and get the turnover.
Yeah, a little bit of a mental lapse there. I mean, those things happen. Of course, you'd hate for it to come at a point where the game's a one-possession game in a big moment.
That'll give Michigan State their 10th turnover, but still under their season average of 16. Tate off to the races. She's looking for one more point to get her a new career high. Instead, it's Sotelo for 3. No. Van Sluten, O-board. Can't get it to go. Sotelo, another O-board. This Spartan team is ferocious, but they couldn't convert.
Yeah, lots of opportunities, just not able to put the ball in the net on that one.
Layden barely hangs on to it to find Puryear down low. Van Sluten stays straight up. Good D. Layden relocates for 3.
3-point basket, number 11, Layden.
Yeah, good job by McKenna Layden to move her feet as well, go towards the ball, kind of drift along that 3-point line, firing the 3 ball. She's a 44% 3-point shooter on the season. Hasn't played much so far this year, but again, those are the types of wins that we are talking about Purdue can still come away with is plays like that, getting players confidence, and that's exactly how you do it. In a matchup like this, you get players more minutes, you get them more confidence, and then when you go later in conference play, those players are going to have that green light and have that confidence in themselves to continue to push through.
For Purdue to have such a tough non-conference schedule as well, where they've lost against some of the best teams in the nation, Notre Dame, South Carolina. They also got a loss last game to Iowa, a few other to go along with that. Now they play this Michigan State team who's had their best start in program history and is off to such a good start. How does Purdue keep their confidence moving forward after all these tough losses?
Well, I mean, you just have to realize who you've played so far this season and recognize that you have one of the toughest schedules in the Big Ten, if not the toughest, with that non-conference schedule. So you just have to realize the players that you have and the teams that you've gone up against and understand that it's only going to make you better.
Purdue looking to learn some things from this loss. That's the thing that they always say. You learn the most from the losses. Puryear puts on the work against Van Sluten and finds 2.
And Kendall Puryear, I mean, we've called her name a few times tonight. She's had such a tough task going up against these Michigan State forwards, but she's only a freshman herself, standing at 6'3". And when you have somebody like that, the future is so bright, and you can tell she's a physical player. She wants to get boards. She wants to be aggressive. And sometimes those things are things that you can't teach. And Puryear has it. So if you have it, that's something that's only going to make you a better player. So the future is bright for her and her journey with the Boilermakers.
Speaking of things you can't teach, Jocelyn Tate, ferocious as they come.
It's a good move, spinning away from the weak side, going into the paint. I mean, that's how you generate contact.
19 points for Jocelyn Tate, ties her career high that she hit at Bowling Green before she transferred over into the green and white as a Spartan. She has surpassed her career high. It was previously 13. Now she sits at 19. She's also got a double-double to go along with 10 rebounds.
A double-double just as impressive, if not more impressive, than the career high. We all know that Jocelyn Tate can score inside, and Puryear was trying to do that right there.
Puryear just needed more patience there as it was a guard of Jocelyn Tate coming over, switching late from Van Sluten. Michigan State has this game in the palm of their hands. A big game for Michigan State to get back into the win column. They were off to their best start in program history, 11-0 start, but then lost back-to-back games against Alabama and Maryland. A-Ralt with 2 points there. Right close to double-double territory is A-Ralt as well with 10 points and 9 boards.
Yeah, once again, Julia A-Ralt, I mean, just looking for another double-double on the season.
Foul call as it got a little chippy there between both number ones, Reynolds and Simmons.
Yeah, officials really mean much, especially since all afternoon both teams have been playing very, very physical.
And a physical game it really has been. That rebound battle, a good indicator of the physicality in this one. Offensive boards shows Purdue with 9-0 boards, and it's Michigan State with 19. They really took advantage of the offensive glass in the second half. Simmons at the free throw line.
Yeah, they sure did, and they also forced Purdue into 25 turnovers so far this afternoon. Michigan State only with 10 themselves. They started off with quite a few in those first couple quarters, but then they really started to lock it down, and the Spartans also awarding 23 points off turnovers as well.
Those 25 turnovers out of Purdue, very on brand for Michigan State defense. They forced opponents into an average of 26 turnovers on the season. That's been the cornerstone of Spartan basketball this year.
Yeah, it sure has, and they've done a great job of keeping the ball in their own hands as well. I mean, Michigan State also averages just under 17 turnovers a game, not as much as Purdue sitting at 2. I mean, they've done a good job keeping the ball in their hands this afternoon.
Yeah, for the Spartans to limit that average of 16.2 down to 10 today, that's impressive, especially against a Purdue team that changes up their defensive schematics so often, and that throws off a lot of teams. The Spartans have handled that well today. Just 10 seconds left on the shot clock, under a minute left in the game. Spartans looking for one more, a cherry on top. A-Ralt gets to go to the free throw line.
And Jones shaken up a little bit, might have got bumped in the face by A-Ralt forearm or elbow, but regardless, A-Ralt will be able to go to the line. One more rebound away from that double-double.
Something that Purdue can be excited and proud of themselves about in this game. They did end the game on 41% field goal shooting, 41% three-point shooting. So their offensive production in terms of quality shots has still been decent against a team that is so good on the defensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, just taking a look at what's transpired between these last few quarters and take a look at the free throw comparison. Purdue shot 4 free throws, or 4 for 4. Michigan State, 16 and 25. So Spartans went to the line 25 times, made 16 of them, but Purdue only went to the line 4 times. That's something I was talking about earlier, is they should have gone into the paint more and they should have looked to their bigs. But again, it's also a big credit to Michigan State's forwards for their defense.
Yeah, Michigan State forwards have done a really nice job in this game of staying clean. Only one player for the Spartans. It's Shoemate with 4 fouls. Nobody else has more than 2. Michigan State will dribble this one out. Excited to get back in the win column. The Spartans off to their best start in